My name is Will Martin. I am a registered architect. I have a Master's of Architecture degree. The troll came about in a funny way. It started out as a competition. What was underneath the Aurora Bridge before the troll was a mess. There were rats down there. There was a lot of drug dealing the neighbors didn't like. And so they applied to the city to have a competition, to have a piece of artwork that would help clean up that area. At one point, Ross drew a drawing of a colossus. And Steve looked at that and said, "Oh, that looks like a troll. You should enter that into the Hall of Giants contest. It's such a dumb idea, it's gonna win." We thought, okay, sure, why not? Part of the inspiration came from Storm King in Connecticut, where there's a colossus or a giant crawling out of the ground, and it's mostly buried, but you've got an arm and a torso and a leg. And I just started drawing. Ross started writing things and I started drawing, and we ended up with a troll with its arm wrapped around one of the legs of the bridge, one of the supports, and the troll looked like Richard Nixon, because I thought, I know, hippies, Fremont, Richard Nixon, they'll get it, they'll think this is funny. And we went through a bunch of drawings and iterations and thinking about it. And then Ross lived up on 180th at the time. And so we set up shop in his living room. We spent a week living on corn dogs and cheap beer and listening to really loud Dwight Yoakam music for a week. And we built it, and it was all very much an architectural model that was all to scale. And we put it out, and sure enough, we won the competition. I made a rubber mold of the original model. And that rubber mold then was cast into a bunch of plaster replicas of that model. The biggest challenge was just figuring out how to build it, how we were going to blow up this irrational thing. Now, we built it, we're architects, so it's 1/4 inch to a foot scale. We built it to scale, to exact scale, of course. But that doesn't mean there's dimensions on anything, because how do you dimension a troll? You don't. There were a lot of little serendipitous things. For example, the VW came about because we were thinking, oh yeah, there's got to be a car here somewhere. And we happened to be at a model shop where they had car models because we were going to use a car model. And there was a VW. We thought, VWs, hippies, perfect. Fremont. A full-time job for about 6 months. And, it was early in the morning until the afternoon, and we had a lot of volunteer labor on weekends, but usually during the week it was usually just Ross and Steve and me working on it, and the occasional other person would come in the afternoon, but we put a lot of time into it, and Donna hanging out, talking to people and soliciting donations. One of the things that I really liked about it was what it looked like before the concrete went on, when it was just mesh. It was beautiful. It was translucent. It was sort of this ghost troll, if you can imagine the ghost of that, what's there. And it's obviously a very unusual structure. You don't build things like that normally. It's just not what you do. Not at all. Only real thing is it's famous and I'm not. And that's a good thing. I like it that way.